Okay, I started the recording.
Very
Um,
nice.
yeah, so I guess we will discuss veganism. Mm.
Right on. Yeah, and like I said, we were supposed to start 2.5 hours ago.
No,
I
no,
tried to,
you
but
said we will start at 11 p.m. That's actually half an hour from now.
no, no. I said Central Standard Time. So
I
it's
don't think
anyways.
you
It's
did,
it's
but
12:30 here.
uh, I am pretty sure I just copied pasted the time you sent the to the
Let me see.
uh, I'm opening the mail.
You still with me?
Yeah, you said tomorrow 11 PST.
Yeah, and it's 12:30 right now.
It says that PST. Oh, I see the problem. I think it translated. No, wait. PST is. It translated as PT. Wait. It should be 11 here. Just a second.
Yeah. Either way, it's we're at the 30 mark. Um, if I said
Yeah,
11,
Pacific Standard Time is 11 a.m. is 8 p.m. Central European Time. So, yeah, I don't know what happened, but
yeah, it's okay. It's okay. But I can chat for a few minutes. So, where would you like to start?
yeah, well, first we can discuss some terms. I've watched few of your debates, so I know which terms we need to address first. First, we can address the need part. Uh,
Necessity?
yeah, necessity. I would like to argue that nothing is necessary except death, and all other needs come from wishes, and only wishes create other needs. So the only thing that you truly need to do is to die, and all other needs, quote unquote, comes from as prerequisite for fulfilling a wish. Do you agree with that?
What was the last word for feeling what?
Wish. A wish. You know what a wish is.
Okay,
Genie
okay,
grants a tree.
okay.
Do you agree with that?
I guess when referring to necessity, are you talking about the necessity to eat animals or
No,
not?
every
Or
single necessity, there is only one true necessity, and that is for you to die, and not just you, but every living being needs to die. Not needs, but will die, so that is a necessity. All other wishes, all other needs come from wishes. So you don't need to live, you just want to live. You don't need to survive, you want to survive. And because you want to survive, that gives you certain needs, right? You don't
sure,
need
sure, okay,
to go to work, you want to go to work because you understand it.
okay,
Otherwise, you can just die. So that is the only
okay.
true need. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I don't really understand the context, but um, yeah, I guess for the sake of moving forward,
Yeah,
um,
great, great.
sure.
The second part is I would like to draw your attention then when the term humane slaughter is used. It is a
Okay,
reference to the Humane Slaughter Act of 1958. So that is a legal term uh, uh, which has legal meanings. And it was defined, humane was in that law defined as without needless pain. So killing animals without needless pain, that is a legal term. That is second. And third, I would like to agree on the use of the word abuse, because abuse has a meaning, and the meaning is improper use of a thing. Do you agree
Okay.
with that?
Well, how would you define the word abuse?
No, I just defined it. I standard English definition: improper use of a thing.
Improper use of a thing.
Yeah,
Um, okay, like slitting someone's throat, like slitting an animal's throat.
that would not be considered improper use, right? That is the
Okay, well then
standard practice.
I would have to disagree then.
Well, I think that you as a so it is improper use. Proper use is usually for for most things are defined by cultural norms. Don't you agree? When you say abuse of information, abuse of position, abuse of rank, abuse of there is a whole list of things that can be abused.
Yeah, and I would include slitting someone's throat as part of that definition of abuse.
I don't think you have any standings to do so, but okay, we can go back to that if you want. Just this was just to set up the terms.
Okay.
Okay, now when we set up the terms, I also noticed one more thing. You said you are not a speciesist.
Not a what?
Not a speciesist. You don't
Species?
distinguish between species.
You're asking me, do I distinguish between different species?
Yeah, you discriminate based on species.
We probably all do to an extent. I would say.
Good, good. I had various hypotheticals for you to prove you that you probably are. But if you agree, then I don't have to use it. That saves a lot of time.
Yeah, but I would also say that just because one can distinguish between different species doesn't justify, killing an animal without necessity for your survival.
Yeah. Well, it is perfectly okay. We need to first go to justify, but we can do it later. I just want to address the necessity for survival. If your wish is to survive, right? You need to eat. You don't need to eat any particular ingredient. You need nutrients, and the source of that nutrients is pretty much irrelevant if your wish is purely to survive. And that's saying that animals as a source of nutrient are completely adequate for the purpose of survival. So if somebody says they eat to survive, it is true.
Okay.
Yeah. And now justify. What do you mean by justify?
What do I mean by the word justify?
Yeah, you use it a lot. What do you mean? I want to have good transfer of information. So I would like your definition.
Sure. I guess to justify would be to give good reason for.
Okay, good reason. Do you have a definition of the word good, or can I offer mine?
I mean, it can be quite a subjective term.
Yeah, but I will agree that it's a subjective term. I think the best definition of the word good is that which is in accordance with one's preferences and or standards of operation. Do you agree with that definition?
Sure.
Great. So that means that what is good for you doesn't need to be necessarily good for me, right?
Sure.
Yeah, so
Sure.
whatever definition, whatever justification or whatever reasoning I offer you, you are in the end the judge for it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I feel that, well, just I probably have very hard task for me to justify whatever I want to do, because I believe that you are categorically opposed to it, right?
Repeat that again. I'm sorry.
I believe that I would have very hard time justifying me killing animals to you, because you have, I would argue, higher than average standard of to satisfy.
Higher than average standard what?
To satisfy your preferences on it is clear, and probably your standard of operation for the justification would be very high.
Okay.
Yeah. But of course, I have a good. I am in a good position because I don't actually need to justify anything to you. I'm just here to discuss reasonings and veganism as a philosophy, because I think it is flawed and very easily picked apart.
Yeah, I don't even think you necessarily even need to use the term veganism or even define it. You could just be someone who uses empathy and places yourself in another's position and then asks the question, how would I like to be treated? Whether or not you call yourself vegan, I think is irrelevant. And what it comes down to is when you pick up those neatly wrapped packages in the grocery store, and someone had to have their head chopped off for that package, and you could have eaten plants instead, you would, just, you don't need to use veganism. Just like I said, you just empathy and place yourself in the victim's position. That's it. It's sort of like the golden rule, like do unto others as you would like to have done unto you. Others would include non-human animals and human animals as well. So those that have the capacity to feel pain, suffering, love, joy, who have sentience and awareness of their experience, that are like you and I in those ways, and plants aren't like that in those ways. And we have to eat something, right, to survive. Either that or we just have to end our lives, right? So if you're going to stay alive, you have to eat something. And if you have two options, then the answer seems obvious to me which option I would choose.
Yeah, compassion or empathy. I want to go pedantic on the differences between twos. Have clear evolutionary purposes. You probably know what they are, but I can explain them. I not to be any mistake. I believe that I have perfectly adequate and average empathy levels, but I do not know why should I govern my decisions based on biological responses of other beings which I'm not subject to. I mean, subject to their biological responses. I believe that only motivation that anybody can have is eternal, and I do not feel any problem. I don't have any negative feelings associated with consumption of meat.
Consumption of animals?
Yes.
What if you were so what animal are you talking about? Like what's a typical animal that you eat on a daily basis?
Mostly typical Western stuff: chickens, pigs,
Okay.
sometimes cows, maybe fish. Nothing
Okay.
special.
And can you repeat the last part that you said before that you
Sometimes
don't feel
cow, I
like
said. No,
so,
nothing special. Nothing special. Pigs, cow, chickens, fish, normal stuff. Or
no,
ordinary stuff.
before that, I'm sorry, what you said before that you don't really feel the need to
I don't have any negative associations with consumption of meat.
yes. So have you ever imagined if you were in that chicken or that pig's position, would you then have a different outlook or a different opinion?
I would definitely have a different outlook. I mean, I want things to happen to me, better things to happen to me now. I want to win the lottery, but I will not probably win the lottery. And chicken probably wants something and it will not get it. We are not owed anything by the universe or anybody else, right?
Sure. Yeah, I think it kind of, you can lower the bar to just bodily autonomy, right?
Why?
To be left alone.
Why would I do that?
When considering the victim's position.
Yeah, I mean, I can consider the victim's position, but I do not think that I have any obligation or any reason to show them mercy.
Okay, but
or
would
to
I
leave them
have
alone.
sure, but would I have an obligation to show you mercy,
No,
or would you be okay for me to eat your body?
I wouldn't be okay with it, but if I
So why is
cannot,
that?
I
Why is there that difference?
well, it's not about any difference. I mean, I value my wishes, right? You value your wishes. Chicken
Sure, sure. And
values his
a chicken
wishes.
values, and a chicken would value their life, or a
Yeah,
dog would value their life.
yeah, and that is
So why is
I
it
am
that?
not
Why is it
expecting
that?
chicken to die happily. I don't expect you to die happily, and I don't expect
No,
me
no, no, no.
myself to die
Wait,
happily.
we're getting we're getting off the rails. Why would I be obligated to show you
You are
mercy?
not.
But huh?
You are not obligated to show me any mercy.
Okay, so
There
you
is
would be
no
totally
obligations. Only obligations that exist are social or legal. No other
okay.
obligations exist.
So you would be totally okay with someone slitting your throat to eat
No,
your
I
body?
wouldn't be okay with it. I would be very unhappy with it. But you
So
don't
do
have
they
any
have an
obligations for
obligation?
me to. You don't have any obligation to fulfill my wish, to not have my throat slit, right? You don't have to grant my wishes. I don't have to grant your wishes, right?
Well, I mean, imagine if we ran society like that. You
We
know,
do run
it's kind of
society that way.
you're kind of talking like
No,
that. Do what thou wilt. That's kind of like
well,
what like
isn't
a
that
statement.
true? Don't people
Is
do
that
what they
that's
want?
huh?
Don't people do what they want? Only thing that people do is what they want. They never do anything that they don't want to do, right?
I don't know. Well, I mean, we could get into a debate about free will. Now you're kind of going on a tangent there.
Well, it's not a tangent.
I actually believe that no, people don't do what they want. We're actually controlled by our subconscious and our unconscious thoughts. All the things that have happened to us
And that's not
that we're
you, that's
unaware of.
what?
What?
Your subconscious is your instincts and what? So your instincts are not you. They are what? They are some alien beings inside you. That's ridiculous. They are
No, no,
part of
not
you. That
alien being. No,
you are
not
one
alien
whole,
beings.
right?
No, I'm talking like basic psychology,
Yeah, I understand
not aliens.
psychology, but just because you have some evolutionary impulses, that doesn't mean that they are not part of you. They are. They are exactly why you are like that. You only have empathy because you have the evolutionary impulse to have empathy, right? If without that evolutionary input, you wouldn't have empathy, and you wouldn't care about the chicken or whatever, because well, you wouldn't have it. You would be mute to
Yeah,
it. So
but
if you say that we have that we are somehow slaves to our subconscious and our instinct, then you too, my friend, are a slave to your compassion.
sure, sure, sure.
So don't. I think that is self-defeating argument for you.
I don't believe so because,
How?
uh, well, do you have is your mother in your life? Do you love your mother?
Yes,
Okay. And do you want to punch your mother in the face?
no,
Okay. Could you will yourself to want to punch her in the face?
probably. I can do. I can probably will myself to do whatever I want. Well, but in that case, I would want to do it, and I would do it, right? It doesn't
Yeah,
prove anything
but
or disprove anything. I'm just
currently you don't want to, right?
exactly. I don't want to.
Okay, so you could will yourself to want to though.
Probably.
Oh, I guess I'd have to disagree there.
So you cannot imagine yourself ever
I don't
punching your
believe that I could
mother.
will
That's
myself.
not
I
much
don't
of an
believe that I could.
imagination.
I don't believe that I could will myself to want to punch my mother in the face. That would be pure free will and the ability to do whatever I want.
Okay, what if punching your mother in the face would save her from internal suffering?
I'm talking about just the particular circumstance that we're in now. We can't go on to like, yeah, sure. If someone had a gun to my mother's head and said, "Punch your mom in the face," and
Well,
if you
there you go.
don't, I'm
You can
going to
imagine
shoot her.
yourself willing to punch your mother in the face.
Yeah, but then we're talking about different scenarios. I'm
No,
talking about
you didn't present us any scenario. You just said, "Can you imagine yourself convincing yourself to punch mother in the face?" And I said
yeah,
yes, and I
without any
showed that
with
you can do it too.
without any external push.
External push is not relevant. It is
Sure, it is.
even
How is it
if
not relevant?
look,
How would that not be
even if
relevant?
I
If someone,
look, even if I put a gun to your head and say punch your mother or I will shoot you and her, it is still your decision to punch her, right? You can choose
yes,
not to punch her. It is your decision or your wish to punch her.
yeah, but I still didn't want to. I
Well, you
only did it
did.
to save her
If you
life.
didn't want to, you wouldn't do it,
Okay, all
right?
right. Yeah, what does this have to do with you not having compassion towards
No, no,
non-human
I
animals?
have compassion. I just don't see any reason why I should grant other beings' wishes.
To treat others as you would want to be treated.
Well, my wishes are being granted all the time. They are being granted very rarely, considering how many wishes I have.
Okay, but you don't want anyone to slit your throat and eat you.
Well, I don't want to. That doesn't mean that it won't happen. It can happen today. It
Okay,
could happen tomorrow,
okay. So,
right?
all right. So, where do you want to go from here? We're kind of going in circles here.
Uh, well, now when we,
What is it? What it comes down to is you don't have a reason to have empathy towards non-human animals,
well, I
or
mean,
maybe other
there
humans.
is,
I don't know.
having empathy doesn't have to do anything to do with reasons to have empathy. I have empathy for I have it is evolutionary trait. I have it because it served evolutionary purpose. It still does. It
Sure.
is, and it's not that it is. It's not a rational thing. It is simply a irrational thing. It is unconscious decision to have empathy, right? You cannot control which unconscious behavior. You can only control conscious
Okay.
behavior, right? But
Okay.
that doesn't mean
Okay.
that every time that you have whatever instinct you have, that you need to act upon it. I would like I would like to at this moment tell you why I decided to talk to you
Hmm.
and why I'm interested in debating vegans and why I'm doing it for the last 3 years.
Okay.
I watched your videos. You kind of got good luck with the last video you made with the algorithm. It kind of circulated the vegan sphere. And
Hmm.
I noticed something that I found actually very disturbing in the vegan movement, and especially with vegan activists. And that is the moment that you chose to become vegan, that you were struggling in business. And struggles of small businessmen are close to my heart, and I understand uh, what it does to a person. And I realized that it is, in talking to vegans, that they usually approach people who are uh, troubled at the moment and that they have the best success with uh, getting those people to their side. I just want to know that I look at veganism as a counterculture and a subculture. I don't want to be pedantic in those two. Uh, yeah, so that is the one point. The second point is that, well, you debate people on the street, put video out, so I think you are fair game. And I got into debating veganism because I was very interested in morality. And vegans are very eager to talk about morality, they bring it up a lot. And they're always happy to talk about it. And I was never happy with any theory of morality that I found, so I made my own. I don't know, we probably don't have the time now for me to deliberate further, but you can watch my videos to do it if you don't have time. But I would like to present it as an overarching idea. Uh, when you say morality, you think normative morality, you think you should do something. there are no shoulds. Shoulds are just instructions to, right? You should put screw A into hole B. The whole point of it comes from basically ancient self-help books that were written by ancient philosophers to help their students live better lives. And of course, better life being life which is according with preference of the teacher. So you have virtues, you have stoicism, you have hedonism, and it developed from that. I and I think the all normative morality is bullshit. It is just unsolicited advice. Now you have descriptive morality that is something completely different. Uh, but yeah, that is what I had to say. Of
Okay.
course, I have a whole theory on descriptive morality, but that's too long.
Okay.
Do you have any comment on it?
Oh, no, not particularly.
What do you think of my arguments and my presentation of it? I would uh, be very happy if you will be as honest as you can.
With which part in particular?
This
The
whole
last thing you said, or
conversation. This
the
whole
enti- the en-
conversation.
the entirety? I don't know, man. It seems like maybe you're overcomplicating it.
No, it's extremely simple.
For me, I'm sorry.
I think it is extremely simple.
Okay. Do you want me to respond?
Oh yeah, sorry. I apologize.
Okay. No, you're good. You're good. Um, yeah, I think that you're overcomplicating it. You seem to be an intelligent person. Um, you seem to be capable of deep thought and seeing different perspectives, but you're unable to somehow see the perspective of the, let's say, since you said chicken as one of the animals you eat on a daily basis, or pig, you're somehow unable to see the very simple perspective that it's just so obvious that a pig would try to avoid pain and suffering. So why inflict you as a human who has the choice as a moral agent to choose whether or not you'll inflict this pain? Why would you choose to inflict it? If you have the choice to be kind or cruel, why be apathetic and why be cruel? And why are you so unable or unwilling to see their perspective?
No, I'm
It's
perfectly able to
baffling.
see their perspective. I'm even perfectly willing to accept that pigs have a wish to be free, to go about doing their business, not being killed. I'm perfectly capable of
Yeah.
understanding, empathizing with that. I'm simply
Okay.
saying that that is a pig's wish. My wish is to, I don't know, buy a sailboat. Will I get my sailboat? Probably not. Will the pig get to live? Probably not. Right? Uh, I don't
Yeah,
have
but
any reasons to grant anybody's wishes other than my own, and I only grant others' wishes if I want to. And in my case, I simply get more benefit from from killing the animal.
mhm.
And I think that, well, of course, I am not asking you to kill animals. I don't know if you get benefit from it or not. I don't even know. I am not
What
getting into
benefit?
it.
What benefit do you get?
Well, I get pleasure, right?
Pleasure? How so?
Well, taste. And then, of course,
Taste.
there is a social component, blah, blah, blah. But we can just give it the overarching name of pleasure.
So you value your own pleasure over someone else's suffering?
I mean, I am biologically conditioned to value my own pleasure, right?
Over someone else's suffering?
Well, over anything.
Oh,
Well,
Well,
don't wait. I think I know what you will say. Don't you think that you value your own pleasure over anything? That you only do actions which you believe will be the most pleasurable for you, and that includes both physical and mental pleasure.
no, no. I mean, one of the most pleasurable things a human can engage in is sex, right? But I don't go around having sex with people without their consent. You know,
Yeah, and why don't do
if I
that?
cared only about my own pleasure, I would just be raping, pillaging, and plundering, right?
So
I have to consider the other subjects' possible
no,
suffering.
no. If you truly wanted to go, if you truly thought, whatever, thought that you would get more pleasure by raping, you would rape, right?
No,
You don't expect that to be a pleasurable experience for you. Not maybe it will be physical experience, but the mental anguish you will experience would be far greater than any physical pleasure that you would get, right?
no, no.
Yeah,
There's a lot of things that would bring me a lot of pleasure that I don't act on
like what?
because of the possibility of someone else suffering, right?
No, I think that you only do it because of your ability to suffer from doing that activity.
Okay. I don't know, man. I don't know what
I
to.
mean, look,
You got me.
it's not about gutting you, I'm just transferring information. I'm not doing this as a gotcha.
I was being facetious.
I'm
I was being
genuinely
facetious.
trying to educate people and spread my, let's say, gospel, quote unquote,
Yeah, I,
ideas.
I was I was being facetious.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't know what else to tell you, but if you can't, if it just comes down to you do what you want. I mean, that's
It,
no way that I would want to live.
well, if that is the way you live,
Yeah.
you cannot. I
Uh,
mean, that is descriptively the way you live. It's not like you should live it. All what I said is
do
descriptive.
it's almost like do what thou wilt, right?
Well,
Like
you do
Jesus.
what I will. You don't do what anybody else's will. You do what you want, right?
Yeah.
Nobody else can. They can
Do what
compel
you
you.
want.
They can influence you, but they cannot make your decisions for you. That is why
Well, I
they.
mean, I don't know what country you live in, but
I live in
you don't.
Croatia.
Oh, okay, very nice. I mean, you have to abide by their rules, the rules
Well,
that
no, you
were
don't.
made by someone else. You don't
No,
get to do
actually, you
whatever you want.
don't. You
Oh,
can
there's no
break the
laws there.
rules, and they will act upon you, but it is your decision. They can limit the amount of decisions you can make, but you can
Okay.
still make those decisions,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Well, what I say it comes down to with this kind of thing, oops, um, is I don't know that there's anything, because you feel like you got it figured out as far as like I'm just gonna do what I want. So there's really no way to argue that. I mean, I can't say, well, do what I say. You have the belief that you're just gonna do what you want, and where I rest with that is within critical mass. So it's a beautiful thing that I don't have to change your mind. Critical mass with past forms of oppression, like the women's suffrage movement, the end of slavery in most countries, the civil rights movement here in America, those sorts of things that came to fruition, and they didn't come to fruition because 100% of the population were on board. It only had to reach critical mass, and critical mass is like 20 to 25% of the population. So I don't have to change your mind. I only have to change the minds of those that are willing to change, and that's one out of every four,
Yeah,
right?
I would
So
argue
there
that
there
all
will
of
come a
those
there will come a
changes
point
are.
there will come a point where you don't have the choice to pay for an animal to have their throat slit. It'll be illegal. And then, yeah, you'll still have the choice to break the law, but then go to jail and this sort of thing and pay fines, and you won't be able to do it. So, I mean, I mean, the future is vegan no matter how you look at it. Even if you
Yeah,
even if you don't even if you don't take the ethical stance, it's simply not sustainable for our growing population and for our environment. So eventually, the governments are going to come in and say, hey, you no longer have a choice. You can't eat animals anymore. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, in that
So
case, that would be economical.
yeah,
Yeah, it would be economical pressure.
economically motivated,
Yeah,
environmentally motivated. Yeah,
as I said, I don't personally have any problem with uh, plant-based diet.
yeah,
I would not call it veganism, though. I think veganism is a philosophy of the vegan subculture, and I have problem with veganism as a philosophy, not as anything to practice. I
yeah.
don't give a fuck what you
Do you
eat.
know the original definition of veganism?
I know the original definition of veganism. I think it is a joke. It is
What
one of the worst definitions I was
can
ever
you tell me what
presented
it
from a
is?
vegan. It is a movement that will that will seek not to uh, use animal products as long as practicable and applicable or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
practical or possible. Yeah,
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 it is actually a terrible definition. You can basically argue that it is not practical to do it if it takes you one more calorie to do vegan thing. So
yeah. But well,
it
it's
is not a
practical.
definition used in any higher uh, talks of any higher level. Vegans don't use that, and I
Yeah,
don't consider everything at high level his very weak arguments.
that's crazy. Well, I mean, like I said, man, you're one in the 75 to 80%. So I'll just continue to focus on changing that 20 to 25%,
Yeah, I think it is
and
a very tall order for you, and for any
20 to
vegan.
25%.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
of
that
course,
is.
yeah, of course. I mean, one quarter is not a tall order. I would say if it was flip flopped, 70. If I had to change 75% of the population, I would say that's a tall order.
I
But I
think
mean,
you would.
that's what everybody said with all past injustices.
No, I
They
think that in this case you have a fundamental problem of people not considering. Uh, I didn't get into descriptive morality, but I believe that there is a moral thing called moral instinct, and I don't think that animals are part of it. And that is the biggest problem that you have to overcome because
yeah,
people inherently don't
white
have a problem with killing animals. They
white
only
white
have
people
problems with
white
certain
people.
treatments of animals, and that comes from the law of mutual aid because you are genetically uh, compelled to help other beings, and that is
Yeah,
different from you being not killing other beings. But it is a bit
yeah,
something a bit more, which would require at least 2 hours to explain.
yeah. White people in this country just 150 years ago thought that black people didn't deserve moral consideration, and that it was a
Um,
slave them.
that
Um,
is not
the
that is not actually true, but we can argue that a different time.
Yeah. And
I mean,
then
there is
men
nobody saying
up in
that a cow is worth 2/3 of a human.
is worth what?
There is nobody saying that cow is worth 2/3 of a human. Not even vegans say it.
I wouldn't even say most people think a cow was even worth two-thirds. They would probably think of a cow as worth much less.
Yeah, I don't think actually cows are worth anything other than monetary compensation. But okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but what would that cow say? They would say, of course, my life is valuable.
Look, it is valuable to them. It is not valuable
Yeah,
to me.
that's
I
it, man.
mean, I have no reason to value your life, let alone cows. I only value your life if I want to value your life. I only
Sure, sure.
value your life, well, apart from being genetically predisposed to value it because, well, but I have very little value for a cow other as a resource.
Yeah. No, I hear you on that. I'm well aware of
I
how you
mean, we
view
are a predatory
animals.
species.
Huh?
We are a predatory species.
Okay.
It would be counterproductive to have uh, any such feelings towards a prey.
I mean, So because we're a predatory species, we should act out
No,
on
no, there
that?
is no shoulds. Shoulds don't. I'm not saying uh, I'm not crossing is or gap. I'm simply making a descriptive claim about the human nature. I'm not saying that you should act according to anything. I'm just saying that you people have tendencies to act in a certain way, and that is genetically and of course evolutionarily governed and created, right?
Do you, do you believe yourself to be apathetic or empathetic towards non-human animals?
Um, I have empathy when my empathy is aroused. So, like any other instinct, it requires a proper stimulate, right? That's why I have much less empathy towards a piece of steak because it doesn't give me enough stimulation other than the animal which was genetically selected for increasing for producing that stimuli. That's why it's big squeal. They squeal because it is a defense mechanism.
Yeah, yeah, because they
Yeah,
don't want to feel
yeah,
the
they
pain that
don't
you're
want to. Yeah,
inflicting on them.
it
Yeah,
is a defense mechanism to being attacked by a predator, which we are,
exactly. Yeah.
and it was selected for because it was effective.
Okay. So do you consider yourself in general to be apathetic?
No, I just said no. I don't think I'm apathetic. I am, as any other people would be. Um I am sympathetic to a degree, and well, sympathetic is a bit different than empathy, but okay. Um Empathy is feeling for, and sympathy is feeling towards.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't. I cannot say that I have much sympathy for um uh, farm animals, let's say it,
Hmm.
or for well, most wild animals. I have no reason to be, and I just
Are you sympathetic towards other humans?
I in most cases I am. I'm well. I would be hard pressed to find a person I would not be sympathetic to. I'm sure that some example can be found, but in most cases I'm pretty sympathetic to humans. I cannot think of any that I wouldn't be right now.
Well, I could think of a few. I mean, I
Like
wouldn't be
what?
sympathetic towards a serial killer.
Well, of
Serial.
course you can be sympathetic to a serial killer. You even said like something like that in one of your previous debates. You don't want to have them tortured in prison.
Yeah, I guess I mean objectively sympathetic.
I mean, you cannot be objectively sympathetic. That is a personal decision, so it cannot be objective.
Hmm. So why is it so easy to be sympathetic towards members of your own species,
I
but
think it is genetically
not others?
predisposed.
What is it?
Uh, Look,
Genetic predisposition?
there is three. I believe that there are three instincts which are crucial for this topic. First one is that, and the oldest one and the most spread in the animal kingdoms, and that is aversion to danger, to violence. Sorry, not danger, to violence, because violence is a source of danger for anybody involved. Because even a victorious fight can be a deadly fight.
Mm-hmm.
And if animals see a fight, they will usually move away from it. And I believe that is the same with humans. That is the first and the oldest and the most unimportant of the three instincts. The second instinct, the second oldest, is so-called mutual aid, law mutual aid. It is an instinct that compels you to help others, and it is trans species. It works on the level on geographical location and previous
Mm-hmm.
relationships. That's why some vegans say circles of expanding moral consideration. That is not true. There is no expanded circles of moral of expanding moral consideration. There is just expanding law of mutual aid. You are more likely to help those who are close to you,
Yeah,
being
it comes
in
from you.
relationship or geographically.
Yeah, from
If you want to explore this further, you can go on Google and type in philosophical experiment boy in a lake, and it will show you very interesting philosophical experiment which will question probably your beliefs. And the third, the newest, and which was probably only present in the genus Homo. Uh, some say the chimpanzees, but I would disagree. And that is the moral instinct. Moral instinct prevents you from uh, assaulting, so basically from creating to harming uh, humans, so your species. It is for species interactions. It's called diversion of genes and so on, but I don't want to go into the reason right now.
Yeah, yeah.
And it also uh, encourage you to punish those who aggress against other humans. So you can call it just a rage or something like that. It is for interspecies interactions, because it gives you competitive advantage because you are more sure that you won't get stabbed in the back, and because of the human's ability to basically plan and to use weapons, basically every, especially in the time when it was because most disabled people would unfortunately die off. Anybody had ability to kill anybody, so you cannot use force purely to govern both intergroup and intergroup relationships. And
Okay,
moral
that's a really long answer to why is it easy to be sympathetic towards humans and not non-humans.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying. Like mutualism is what it kind of boils down
Yeah,
to.
it's not
Is what
it's
you're
not mutualism, and is in cognitive mutualism that you do because you expect, or you do it because it is mostly genetically programmed into you. It's not a
Okay.
conscious decisions for most cases. Of course, like any
Okay.
other instinct, it can be nurtured or suppressed, but that is a different story.
Yep. Genetic predisposition.
Yeah, I would definitely say genetic predisposition. And that's why I think that vegans will never expand from being a counterculture and basically preying on the weak in the society. No offense.
Yeah. No offense taken. It's all good. Dang, you just make something so simple just seem so complicated, man. Just do unto others, man. Just imagine yourself in their position. I know if you were on the slaughterhouse kill floor and some alien species.
Yeah, I would not be happy to, but I don't
I know.
see.
That's what I'm saying. That's
I
what I
don't see
mean.
a reason why aliens should concern
Wait.
themselves.
No, you're good. I'm just saying, fully imagine that. Like some alien species drags you into the slaughterhouse and you're in a pool of blood and they grab you by your ankles and they're hoisting you up to have your throat slit, and they're just doing it for their taste pleasure. You'd be like, these are sick mother, right? Like, why are they doing this? I want to live, and there's no justification for why they're doing this.
Well, there is
It's just so
they want to
easy,
do it.
huh?
There is justification why they want to do it. They want to do it. I don't
I know
have to know
you
it.
would know that it's wrong, right? If you were in the victim's
I would
position.
know that it is against my preference. I don't
Okay,
think
you
that
would
there
know
is
that it's against your
categorical right or
preference.
wrong.
Okay, then you would know it's preferentially wrong. Okay,
Well, it
preferentially
was
wrong.
preferentially wrong for me. It is also preferentially wrong for me when a girl says that I am not interested in you, go away. Right? That is against my preference also.
Yeah, but you can't equate
I absolutely
slitting your
can.
throat to eat your body to a girl turning you down.
Well, what's the difference? Both are wishes unfulfilled.
Okay.
I
I don't know, man.
understand. The problem is that first of all, I don't care what pigs think of me. It has no bearing on me. I don't have any genetical prepositions to value pig's opinion. I can only value pig's opinion if I have deeper relationship with it. If it is a pet or something, then I would probably have a relationship with it. So I would have it much closer in law of mutual aid. So I would probably be compelled to grant its wishes. But in this case, I have no such impulses. And that is the problem that you have. Most people, when you show them slaughterhouse, and you don't have to, I've seen plenty of them. Um, when you show them videos, you are actually triggering two older instincts. So aversion to violence. They don't want to watch it. They want to get away to it. They don't want it to happen. It is aversion to violence, and you activate law of mutual aid because that pig is now much closer to them, so they want to help that pig.
Yeah.
And because the law of mutual aid is very nurtured in today's society, and I don't have problem with it, you have the results that you get. But if you show people, I'm not saying that it is average. I'm not saying it at all, or business practice or whatever. If you show them sheep grazing on the mountainside, like in fucking Heidi, and then that pig being basically shot with a rifle, very few people will have problem with it.
Yeah.
Because those
but
two,
but you would have a problem with it if it were you.
of course, I would be having problem with. I don't want to die. I don't want to die in any way. But
Sure.
I have always problems with my wishes
And
not
you
being fulfilled.
and you agree a cow doesn't want to die as well, right?
Yeah.
So then how are you not putting those two together and saying, well, if that's what I would like, shouldn't I treat others in that same manner?
Well, look, let's say I want you to be my slave. Will you be my slave? Will you grant me my wish? Do you understand
Okay.
what I'm saying? I don't have any obligation, or basically, I don't have
No,
any desire to
you
grant
don't
you.
have an obligation. You have a choice, man.
Yeah, I
You
have a
can be
choice.
cruel or
I can
kind.
either
That's it.
grant a pig's wish, or I can grant my wish. My wish
Yeah,
is to kill it,
I know.
and its
That's what I'm
wish
saying.
is, and guess which wish I would grant? And guess which most people. You cannot go if I have stronger wish to kill a pig than to let it live. I will kill it, right? And I have much more incentive to kill a pig than to let it live. Right?
Okay. I mean, it still doesn't justify it
Well,
because
as I said,
it wouldn't justify it
justification
if you
is
were.
I cannot justify it because it is your preference not to kill a pig. So if you can
No, no, no,
probably
no,
not
no,
justify I don't know, whatever.
no. I'm saying when you personalize it and you put yourself in their position.
Well, if you put yourself in their position, you imagine, but I don't want to spoil you, but you are not in their position. And if you were in their position, nobody, no, you would have no control over the situation, so your opinion would be invalid. Nobody would
Yeah.
care. Well,
All right,
nobody
man.
have a
I
reason to
gotta.
care.
How long we been on? I've got to. I
No,
don't
no,
even
no
see a
problem.
time
If you
on
want,
here.
I can link you invites to several Discord servers. I think you would benefit from both vegan and not vegan Discord servers.
Yeah, man, for sure. I like learning and talking to people from other sides of the aisle. For sure,
Yeah,
I'm not like I don't just talk to vegans or just hang out with vegans. So,
yeah.
um, you
You
know,
can also watch my old debates, and if you have any
yeah, I
comments,
will. I
I
will
would be
for sure.
love to talk to you again. I don't know what happened with time. I truly
Yeah,
thought
that
that it was because it said 11 PST.
yeah, it seems like that's my mistake. I apologize. And I don't know how I put PST because I'm in Central. I'm in Texas. I was at work when I was responding, so maybe it was just the hectic nature of trying to reply while I was at work.
Yeah, no
But
problem.
unfortunately, I have to head to work right now once again for a little 10-hour shift.
Yeah,
But it
nice
was
talking to
a
you.
pleasure. It was a pleasure. Nice meeting you. And reach out anytime. All right.
Yeah, see ya. I will now stop
All
the
right.
recording.
Yes, sir. You have a good day.